And this gentleman is Steve Blackburn. Steve has a background in architecture. And I would say that arguably he is one of the finest architects
in the world
that has existed in the world. That's exactly right. And that's spoken by Scott Cochran, who knows Steve as well as I do. And Steve worked for a very large firm down in Denver for many, many years. One of the founding principals and members of that firm. He's decided that there's other areas of his life at this time that he'd like to pursue. And so he's decided to join the Youngevity family, partner with his wife Dee, and look forward to this next chapter of life. They've built a 2-star business with Youngevity. They've done some amazing things. And one of the things that we all appreciate very much about Steve is he, obviously being an architect, he's a detailed person. So that part of his brain is constantly working. He's very structured. He's very detailed. He's very specific about everything having to have its place and be in order. I'd say he's a little anal retentive if it was just me. However, that's a good trait. And what I'd love for you to see is how he makes that work for him and his wife, his partner. They make a great team together. But give it up for Steve Blackburn. Talk a little bit about work.
Hey everybody, it's great to see you all here for Saturday. Yeah. Can you hear me in the back, John? John, can you hear me? All right, good. I'll keep that face. So how many in the room, if you would stand up if you want to be a success in your Youngevity business? Stand up. Okay. All right, I like that. Now, remain standing if you want to be highly successful in your Youngevity business. Remain standing. All right. Okay, that's great. You can sit down. All right, so what I want to talk to you about today is the daily habits of being productive and communicating with your upline. Does everybody in the room know who their upline is? Okay, you know who to call if you need help from your sponsor or your enroller. Okay, if you don't, come see somebody up here afterwards and figure out who your upline is. Okay, because they're probably in this room. Chances are. I want to talk a little bit about my favorite book. How many of you know that leaders are readers? Okay, yes. Most of the room, right? I'm going to share with you my favorite book. I read it 25 years ago and it's affected a lot of what I do on a daily basis. It's called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Okay, so you all just told me you not only want to be successful, but you want to be highly successful. And so I'm going to teach a little bit from what I learned from Dr. Covey about this subject. And here's what I know. Scott alluded to, we've kind of grown our families up together. And so I have 2 children. They're age 29 and 27. Keep getting older. And one of the things that my wife and I decided to do when they were very young was a very simple thing. So if you want to know how to parent, I'm going to tell you how to parent. Hey, how many parents in the room? All right, good. So I'm talking to the right crowd. Here's how you parent. How many people want to be parents someday? Yeah, so it's like the whole room. Okay, so here's the simple equation for great parenting. Move your child from pure dependence on you to independence. And then someday there'll be an interdependence between you and your child. Okay? And Covey talks about success in the same way. He says, and in fact, he's organized his entire book, The 7 Habits, around that subject. So if you write down in your notes, I want to move from, this is moving from dependence to independence to interdependence. And the first habit is to be proactive. Okay, I'm not going to teach on all of these, I'm going to teach on one of them. Number 1 is be proactive. Number 2 is begin with the end in mind. That's the one I'm going to teach on. Number 3 is put first things first. Those are all under the dependence category. As you move from dependence to independence, you move into public victories. The first ones were private victories, working on yourself. I'm going to teach you how to work on yourself. But when you move to independence, the second group, It's number 4 is think win-win in every situation. Number 5 is seek first to understand and then to be understood. Number 6 is to synergize, and that is the second group of moving to independence. The third group, moving to interdependence, is to sharpen the saw. Marianne talked about being a tool. Okay, so the whole reason all of us are here today is because we're all a tool, right? We're all a tool in helping people with their health, their wealth, or their time, right? And so we're here to sharpen ourselves. And every time we get together, either one-on-one or as a group corporately, we're here to sharpen ourselves. And then the 8th Habit, which is another book that Stephen wrote before he died, is called Finding Your Voice and Inspire Others to do the same. So that's what we're doing today, is inspiring others to do the same. So what I want to do is share with you a little bit about what I've learned moving from corporate America to moving to into the world of network marketing, which is my daily world now. And so I've moved from something that was very structured, like Scott said. I knew exactly where I was going every day. I knew I had to go to Kansas City for this meeting, or to Dallas, or to San Francisco. I'm moving all around. I got things in my calendar. Well, as soon as I retired from that whole structured industry, I moved into an area of life called complete time freedom, which is something we all really, really want, right? How many people want their time back? Okay, most of the room wants their time back. All right, I can tell you what getting your time back is like. It's delectable. it's wonderful. However, it has its traps too. If you get all your time back and you don't do anything productive with it, then you're not highly successful, in my opinion. So I'm going to tell you how I organize my day now that I have my day back, my week back, my month back, and how I incorporate that into a successful Youngevity business with my wife, Dee. And we are a team at this. She's going to be up here later on the women's panel. I'm going to talk a little bit more about powerful women and how they fit into this industry. My job is to tell you some of my secrets, some of my tips on how I have a productive day. Yeah. The first thing you do is get out of bed. No, really. And I have family members who don't get out of bed. My sister, I call her up at noon Central Time. How was your morning? Oh, I just got out of bed. I'm like, are you serious? Okay, so
this is being recorded. She's
watching. Janice, you're doing things. My opinion, again, is to get out of bed. So again, I generally start our day at 6:30 or thereabouts. And so the first thing we do is we get up and we do what? Go to the bathroom. Right. No, after that, we take our nutrition. Right. We get Dee coffee so she can start her day, because that's really important. But after we do that, we have our God time. We get right to business. I mean, we are in business for ourselves. We have these incredible dreams. And those of you that know me know that I wrote a book. I'm actually publishing a book. I'm excited about that. But until then, it's in this paper copy called 90 Dreams for Life, and it's all the things that I want to do before I'm dead. Okay, so that's part of my why. It's like, this is what drives me. We need cash, right? So we know we need to get up and get going. So that's like rule number 1: get up and get going. Secondly, and something that's really helpful for that is that we have Zoom calls almost every day with our upline. And so those of you that have a computer or a phone, you need to be doing this too. And there's training every day somewhere in this company. And we follow Scott. He's not only one of my best friends, but he's also our enroller. And he's gone somewhere that I want to go. How many people want to go where the Farbulas are at? Yeah, okay, the whole room, good. So I want to do that too. So we get up and we get ready for Scott's calls, and we are ready. We are prompt with one of the first ones on those calls. We have our notebooks ready, and we're ready to go. And so those are, some are at 8 a.m., some are at 8:30, some are at 9 a.m. So they're early in the morning. So you got to get ready for that. So prepare yourself. Another thing I wanted to show you is a tool that Dee and I have been using just recently, and it's called the High Achievers Playbook. And this is a playbook that's been written for the professional network marketers in the world. And it's a really cool book that in the front of it, I'm not here selling any of these, I'm just saying this is what I'm using. I wish I was selling them.
However, they are on sale 30% off this weekend for March Madness.
Okay, good.
Where at? HighAchieverPlaybook.com. Okay.
HighAchieverPlaybook.com. But right here, this is, so at the end of my day, I leave this page open on my desk. So when I walk into my office every day, I have my mission right in front of my face. I read my mission every day. This is my mission statement. These are my goals, my spiritual goals, my family goals, my health goals, and my career goals. I read them every day. And I encourage you to do something like that too. Marianne talked about writing out your why. Get it in front of you. Keep it in front of you. Understand what drives your day and your behaviors. It has all the top 10, there's like 20 or 30 books here. The top books for the network marketing professional to read. We talked about leaders or readers, and there's some great books in here that I just started a new one by Og Mandino. But I want to show you, this is a daily page, and it's once you lay it out on your desk, it's a big giant acreage of blank page to write on. But when I do my CSIs, I take notes right here. So now I don't have to go look for a journal. I don't have to go look for pieces of paper. I don't have to go search for stuff. Everything is in my High Achievers book. And this is my calendar. It's blank in the morning, and I just keep track of what I'm doing. And why is that important? It's important because I've decided to be accountable to my upline. And at the end of every day, and it's usually around 9 or 10 p.m., I actually send Scott and Dee, these my accountability partners, I send them a text of what I did that day. Now, we talk about beginning with the end in mind. So beginning each day with the end in mind. If you know that you have to make an accountability text to your upline that night, are you gonna goof off that day? No. So this is how I remember what I've done, and so that it's very efficient for me to be able to text that to my accountability partners. And where did I learn to do that? Well, I learned to do that through 65 and Wake Up. Okay, so Dee and I are graduates of that program that Tom created. And those of you that don't know what 65 and Wake Up is, it's your decision to interview 2 people a day and do a 3-way with your upline, a 3-way call or share a tool with a prospect, and to document that on 65 and Wake Up's Facebook page. When I first heard about that, I was like, who would ever do that? And then Tom's like, I put you in that group. I'm like, I didn't give you permission to do that. Anyway, he put me in and said, this is what you really need to do. And so how many people in the room, whether you graduated or not, how many people in the room are doing 65 and Wake Up? Come see what we've created here. Okay. All right, hands down. How many people in the room think this is a good idea in order to become a highly successful network marketer in the Youngevity business? Okay, there's your new recruits.
They already all texted me. They're already getting hammered.
That's where I learned the accountability part, because I knew by midnight of each day in my 65 days, I needed to post to the 65 and Wake Up community. It wasn't to Tom, although Tom responded to every single one of my posts with encouragement and coaching, and that's what you're going to get from your upline. If you're in our downline, that's what you're going to get from us. And so that's what I wanted to say about being accountable. Now, I want to talk about, I have a little bit of time, I want to talk about the Eisenhower box. How many people have heard of the Eisenhower box? 3? How many people have heard of Dwight D. Eisenhower?
5.
All right. I think Stephen Covey stole this from Dwight D. Eisenhower. He calls this the Eisenhower box. And it talks about what's important and what's not important. and what's urgent, and what's not urgent. And what Dwight D. Eisenhower, this is how he ran, this is how he was the Supreme Commander of the Allied Forces in World War II. He's two-term president of the United States. This is how he ran his day and ran his organization. He says, for things that are important and urgent, do them. Absolutely do them. For things that are important but not urgent, decide and schedule them. Use D words, which helps me. Yeah.
How do you know?
I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get some examples. Actually, you're gonna get me some examples. So decide and schedule them. If something is not urgent and not important, just delete it. I think you know what that stuff is, right? You guys are getting emails that you're like, I never open those.
Right.
At the bottom of those emails, there's an unsubscribe button. Unsubscribe from them, you never see them again. Just delete it. The things that are urgent and not important. D, what's the third quadrant? That's right. Delegate. And we've decided that things that go into this are not important and they're not urgent, are things like cleaning our house.
I love that.
No, seriously.
No,
Yeah.
seriously.
No, seriously. I mean, we
No.
can spend hours every week cleaning our house, but we delegate it to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that we can work on our business, our dreams, and our why. Okay, things that are to do, okay? Marianne told you 6 things to do, right? Because they're Youngevity University. So it's like, take your product, do it. It's important and it's urgent, right? Because we either are recovering from a disease or we're preventing it, right? Other things that are important and urgent. Someone give me an example that's important and urgent in your life.
Get on a Zoom call.
Zoom, okay? Yeah, Zoom training. What was the other one?
Meditation.
Meditation, okay?
Contacting people.
Prospects. Contact. Great. Now, what are some things that are important, but they have no deadlines? Oh, team challenge I put in here,
Oh, yeah.
right? Because team challenge has a deadline. It's March 31st. We have to, qualify. Right? Taxes. Unfortunately, that's important.
Dang it.
All right, I want to give you an example of something that's important to me but not urgent. Something that's important to me and not urgent is talking to my children. Okay, they live eight time zones away from me. They both live in Germany, starting their careers and going to grad school. When I was working in architecture, I'd go like 2 months without talking to Brady. And I'm like, I hated that because he's important to me, but there was no urgency, so we didn't make it happen. So when I retired, I contacted my kids and I said, okay, you guys are so important to me. You're like, you're just it. Okay. So I scheduled my Zoom call with them. I decided. It's like the most important thing in my week. Bethany on Mondays, Brady on Fridays.
Awesome.
All that other stuff is the stuff in front. But I had to decide that they were important. But I had to create the urgency by scheduling stuff. Somebody give me else an example of something in your life that's important to you, but there hasn't been a deadline. Yes.
Date night.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Spouse.
Do you love your dog more than your husband?
Did someone say dog?
Was that date out with the dog?
Feed my animals.
Vacation.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Vacation.
Yeah.
Scheduled good. But it's important, right, to get away.
Mhm.
If anybody else have any other examples of it, what's something that somebody's gonna delete right now out of your life that's like, you know what, that's not important and there's no urgency and it's just taking up my time. Netflix. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Also called binge watching. I understand. Claire.
Politics.
Politics.
Mm.
Delete friends and create a team.
Good.
Oh.
So, does everyone kind of understand the box here?
Mhm.
Here's what we want to spend some time really thinking about. Stephen Covey calls it quadrant 2. Quadrant 2 is important but not urgent, but you make it urgent. You give it a deadline. So I hope that was helpful to you, and I'll just leave you with that thought of you're in charge of your life. We all have 168 hours in a week, no matter what you're doing with your work, your family. We all have 168 hours, so you decide how to run your business. I wish you every possible success in your Youngevity business. I wish you every possible high success in becoming a professional network marketer. And let's just go out there and make it happen. Thank you very much.
All right, we're going to transition again. We've got another panel right now. This panel is going to focus on women leaders. Tom is going to do the MC and interviewing on this panel. So we need to the front of the room. We need Nikki Molly. We need Dee Blackburn. We need Juliet Bardulis, and we need Marianne Niehaus. And by the way, while they're coming up here, hey guys, are you having fun tuning in to this live Super Saturday in Longmont, Colorado? Welcome aboard. Forgot to make mention of all you tuning in from all over the world. Thanks for being here. We want you to feel like this is just as much your Super Saturday as it is for the people that are here live right now. And if you've got any thoughts, feelings, feedbacks, questions, comments, please send that into the chat bar on Zoom, and James or Marianne will be monitoring that. We'll get to you. So if you've got a thought or a question that you'd like us to address you, let us know who you are and where you're tuning in from, because we'd love to know what part of the world you're listening from. So thanks for being here. We're going to transition now to the Women's Leadership panel. So thanks for being up here, everybody. By the way, while you're getting your thoughts together, because I know you need time to prepare for this.
Let me check my notes.
Yeah, hold on. We got to get his notes quick. I just wanted to say thank you to Steve, and there he is. And yeah, thank you very much, Steve. And I don't know if you do this, but how many of you have been to the Longmont Rec Center? Raise your hand if you've visited the Longmont Rec Center. Raise your hand if you've been to the Boulder Rec Center. If you've been to the Boulder Rec Center. How many of you have been to the Chilson Center in Loveland, Colorado? Raise your hand if you've been to the Chilson Center.
How many of you have been to a rec center?
Those are just examples right here locally of beautiful buildings that have been created, all architecturally drawn and structured by the great Steve Blackburn.
All right, so I got the women. That's pretty cool. I don't have enough. Heidi, get up. I mean, Victoria, get up here. Come on. I need one more woman. You guys have never met her. She's only been in the business about an hour. She's right over there. You're in the hot seat. So, the reason I want her here is because she's got a little 8-year-old, and she has just joined the business. She has a degree in nutrition. She is bad to the bone, and I just can't figure out what she's doing here with all you misfits. So we're going to ask these women. Women drive network marketing. That is they are the lifeblood, and there is no glass ceiling in network marketing. Women can have it all, and so we have got some powerful women here. And I want to know why you're in network marketing. Why are you doing this? You've had unbelievable success in it at a very young age. You've got the little pickle already. That is so exciting. Tell us.
I suppose that network marketing found me because I too, like a lot of people who've been up here, I came from a career. Mine was medical in background. And I immediately found myself treating patient to patient to patient to patient and hadn't built a family yet. And after I had a child, I mean, even before her, I found network marketing. I realized having a child, I got to be present for every one of her first. And nobody gave me a phone call and said, Arian took her first steps today or whatever. And the attraction to the industry is that I get paid for my work and my work ethic. The end. Nobody decides. Scott doesn't pick. Joel doesn't pick. Nobody picks. I get to decide that. And I get to do it when I want to.
Wow. Is that cool?
Yes.
All right. Okay, I want to hear the same thing from mother of Ashton, Blake, and Sienna. Juliet Bardulis, same story. Why? You've been doing this since you were 18 years old.
Good with names. If you notice that, he remembered our kids' names. Now, he has known us for 6 years, and so you better not forget our kids. but that's a good trait.
All right.
So same thing. I didn't have the career that we had. When we got married, we immediately joined a network marketing company, and we were living in California. And we did that because we just wanted to work together. We just got married 2 weeks before that, and the thought of working separately 8 hours somewhere apart, and then just having a few hours in the evening just wasn't going to work for us. We just knew we wanted to work together. So we were able to do that, and we had our first child. We waited 5 years and then had Blake, and he's here, and this might embarrass him. This is going to embarrass him. We brought him home from the hospital, and
Ugly kid.
I just started crying, and I said 2 things. I said, I would eat his boogers. I love him so much. Can I eat his boogers? So God said, no. Why would you ask that? But he would. He would have eaten his boogers. And I said, he's going to grow up with me and move away. And we had just brought him home, just 2 days old, and I was already stressing about the future. So that was another thing. Just like with little Pickle, your little sweetheart, to be able to stay home and raise the kids and still be able to bring home income with an unlimited amount on it was just priceless to us. And so it's hard for women sometimes when they've got their whole career and all the schooling behind it to set that aside, because there's this struggle with wanting to really pour into the kids. So this is beautiful because you can still work on it while you're raising your family and incorporate them as part of it. We would tell the kids, yes, we're going to a meeting and you have to get a babysitter several nights a week for years. We're going to an evening meeting because that's when the people can hear about the company. And it's going to be worth it because we're going to get this trip and we're going to take you on this cruise. So they've been able to travel with us and enjoy all the perks of being the top achievers club that Youngevity has. And it's just been incredible. There's no business like this in the world. And before this, I was a teacher, so love kids and didn't love the low pay that came with it. So to have a vehicle for freedom.
Very cool. So, Mother, thank you very much. Give her a round of applause. So, Mother of Brady and Bethany, tell us about your children. Tell us about why you're here, Dee Blackburn.
Okay, well, I had a misstart in network marketing, which how many of you got into it with excitement in the wrong timing for the wrong company? A lot of us. So I was very resistant to the whole network marketing thing. However, I wanted the results of the products. And so where I was when we found Scott was no focus, dealing with 3 years of a legal battle over my little sister's death. I had quit my corporate job to deal with her life and what was left of it anyway. And I did not want to go back to corporate America. I had hit the glass ceiling at General Electric so hard it knocked me to my knees so many times that I did not want to go back to a cubicle. I did not want to go back to the conference room or a trade show booth for the rest of my life. But I knew I needed to make money. And so when we got results from the products, I humbly went back to Scott and said, people want to know how we lost all our weight. How can we help them? I need to build a business. And that was me not wanting to be in the torment of what I had lived in corporate America. It drove me back to something I really had lost my belief in until the products came around. So don't give up on anyone because they have resistance to network marketing, because the timing might be wrong. Everybody's going to hit a valley, everybody's going to hit a wall, and everybody's going to be on a mountaintop, and everyone else is in between. So when somebody says no, please take it as a not now and love them where they're at and keep fertilizing them, because they may be like me and have circumstances humble them.
Isn't that cool? Well, you don't know, she's got a master's degree too. And that, just like Dr. Claire and just like Dr. Ite and the rest of the nutrition scientists in this room, the biggest drawback to poor D was that master's degree, because in this business you have to fire your brain and hire your heart. And you know, just think, most of you, and you kids are young, but us old people, it's been a long time since somebody looked at our report card. People don't care how smart they are or you are, they care how nice you are. So work on being nicer rather than smarter, and you're going to be okay. Marianne, the mother of Reese, Kira, and I don't remember the fiance's name, Nikki. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I've been an entrepreneur all my life, and what was interesting, even when I was a kid, I would put on a one-person play, and I'd have a sign out front and a Kool-Aid stand, and I would do a play, and I would sell Kool-Aid, and my parents would come home, and I would like charge money and make money, and so my mom said, I always knew that you would own your own business, and I did, and so for 18, 19 years, I owned a marketing and graphic design business. And it was one of those things where I was so excited to own my own business, but guess what? It really owns me. Now, I did have a chance to be home part of the time while raising my kids, so that I was really fortunate about that. But, I just got, earlier I mentioned about having coffee and getting paid for it because I became so burnt out. And I just couldn't do it anymore. Have you ever been in that spot where you're just like, I'm done, I gotta find something else. And so I did start this journey of self-discovery and kind of going out there, reading the books and personal development and what have you. And I really came here for products because my son played high-level hockey, and God forbid he had a sinus infection and have to sit on the bench because you spend a lot of money in high-level hockey. So it's about 15 grand a year. And that was the last thing I wanted. So I talked to the doctor, and I'm like, how can he, get better and not get sick every year? And they said, oh, there's none. What about vitamins? Nah, that doesn't work. So anyway, so my friend Trish, I called her and I'm like, I gotta do something. And so really that's kind of how I got introduced to Youngevity. But what I really started seeing was I kept sharing it. Next thing I know, my products were free, and I was still burnt out on my business, and I tried some other things, and eventually one day, Tom was like, what the heck are you doing? Why aren't you doing this? And all of a sudden this light went on, and I was like, yeah, why aren't I doing this? And so really I wanted residual income because if I wasn't working in my business, I wasn't getting paid. Right? How many of you, were trading time for money all the time? And so the concept of residual income really just kind of, lit me up. And I've just had a great opportunity working with all of you and Tom and Denise. And so I'm in for the long haul. And you make that commitment somewhere along the way where, you're always like, I'm in, I'm out. Okay, that's it. I'm in. I'm just doing it. So that's where I'm at.
Very cool. Hello, Victoria, mother of Adeline. How are you doing?
Well,
Are you happy to be here?
I'm very happy to be here.
What are you doing here? Tell us about you a little bit, because nobody's ever heard of you before. You stylishly dressed woman in black.
All right, so my name is Victoria Speed. I'm from a small town called Midland, Texas. I actually, since I first remember, always wanted to own my own business. And just always had that spirit of knowing that I wanted to work for myself. And I actually got inspired to get into health and nutrition at a very young age. I was 7 years old whenever I lost my father to cancer. So a couple years later, around 9, I started associating the diet and the disease. And with the influence of my aunt and her boyfriend at the time, who were vegan, I started really changing my diet, reading labels, all of that, and that became a huge thing that I was obsessed with at a very young age. So fast forward a little bit, I'm 14 years old, I fall in love with this guy, and we end up having my daughter whenever we were 16. Actually, I was just barely 17 when I gave birth. So I have this kid, I'm still a kid myself, and I'm trying to figure out how to incorporate, just being there for her, being successful, and, bringing that health to her. So it was a struggle for a while.
I didn't really know what I was going to do with myself. Ended up going to work for Domino's just to kind of make some money. And that took me on a 3-year just crazy trip from being a stay-at-home mom to working 80 hours a week as a general manager. So I got there pretty quick. I trained in management for 6 months before I got there. So it was just like bam, bam, bam. My whole life was different. Next thing I knew, I had like no time with my daughter. I feel like I missed so much time of her life to that job. I had success from everyone else's eyes. I was doing great. And I just still felt miserable. So I knew that this wasn't right for me. I had to follow my heart and find something with health. And that's when I discovered the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. I got my health coaching certificate and started going down that path. And ended up moving out here, or not out here, sorry, San Antonio. Where am I? Moved to San Antonio. And within a few months, actually, things got kind of crazy and hectic. Long story short, I met this amazing man, Devin. He introduced me to Youngevity and network marketing, and it seemed absolutely perfect. It perfectly showed me how important supplements are, because in my experience, as well as I changed my diet, there was still something missing. Just through all of that, there was still always something I knew that could be better. So the product aspect was perfect. Then just the business aspect was just, it blew me away, the thought of not having to constantly, work the 80 hours a week to just still barely make it financially. And the community was really the best part of Youngevity and network marketing. All of you, just the support, and it's just been an incredible journey so far.
Read them and weep. How about that? Okay, this one's called Pick Your Heart, because it's hard being a mom. And when your kids get sick and you're leaving for work, it's impossible, because the boss doesn't understand a week of the flu and all those things. And I hear all the time how daycare is better. It's just ridiculous. And what I want you to get across to these people is the fact that you do have to work unbelievably hard. I mean, that's all I ever say. I grabbed you guys by the throat at that restaurant, and I'll tell you one thing right now. I need you to know this is hard work. But you know what? You choose your heart. And leaving your kids in daycare or not, I mean, all of that stuff is bad. Choose this heart is what I'm saying to every woman. I want to get across, because the women are driving this profession, because you get to have it all. Nothing's better than being homesick with your kids when your kids are sick. Nothing's worse than sending your kid to daycare when your kids are sick, or to school. It's freedom in its own way. But talk about the challenges, the highs, the lows. With my kids, I'll never forget, Courtney looked up one day and said, "Daddy, why are they taking our Jeep?" And I looked out the window, and they were repossessing the Jeep. I had to go, "Oh, I hate that car." But that's network marketing. It's horrible. But so I'm not going to tell you it's a bowl of roses, but it's a better bowl of roses than the alternative. Go ahead.
Yeah, I suppose thinking about the picking your heart, I think about how it impacts my relationship, even with my husband. It's picking this industry. People think the time freedom and the financial freedom, the health freedom. We wake up next to each other every day. We have breakfast together every morning, and we work together from home. And he just turned 26. I'm about to turn 32. And I think as a young couple, what a healthy, strong foundation that's provided for us. The hard part is we both come from careers where we literally, from baby to all the way through college, we're told what to do. I mean, your parents tell you what to do, and then you sit down with the counselor and they tell you what to do. And you go to your teacher and they tell you what to do, tell you what to do, tell you what to do. And all my life, as going through my teens, I've always owned a business of some kind. Then you jump into network marketing and your own entrepreneur, and then you wake up in the morning and you have breakfast, and guess what? there is nobody there to tell you what to do. So you do pick your hard. It's like you put your kids in daycare, or you pick an industry where there is nobody there to wake up and tell you what to do. So it's just a transition of hard. One of the benefits of the hard greatly outweighs the other one, right? And so just as far as our own relationship goes, you know, that we, just like Juliet said, instead of going out the driveway and separating, we don't even leave the driveway. When we get to be there together, we know clearly what our whys are. And it's not easy every day working with your spouse. You probably know,
It's
right?
terrible.
I mean, I'm sorry to joy to work with Denise. I'm not sure how Denise is not here to give her a piece, you know. So I just have to say that's the hard. And we had dinner with Tom and Denise one night, and he not physically, figuratively grabbed us both and, you know, shook us a little bit, because at times you can get caught in this, oh, I'm going to do this and be in network marketing. This is all we're doing. And you find yourself in that, you know, just in that chart I did today, right? Instability. And so it can be a tough place to find yourself in constant growth. And so I believe in this industry, that's what you pick. You pick the heart of being an entrepreneur, and that there is nobody telling you what to do. And it comes down to knowing exactly, clearly why you're here. That's what keeps you driven every day.
Very cool. Juliet?
Great. So to borrow from Cheryl Morley, who is a wonderful woman, if you don't know her, she's in Virginia, and she is Tom and Denise's upline. So she's
Rich.
on top of She said this, and it's to tag team on that. You just said, if you do today what is hard, your life will be easy. If you do today what is easy, your life will be hard. So that's true, because it's really not hard work. It's just a consistency and a decision, and saying, I'm going to give this opportunity to people, and if they say no, they say no. At least I know I did my part in presenting it to them, and maybe it's not now, maybe it's not right now, not just a straight no. And if that's what you call hard, then that's what we need to do right now, is just get the message out. We're just sharing the message. We're not selling, we're sharing and serving people where they are. And if we decide to just do the easy road and not do that, then eventually life can be hard. As we know, even the best career people can get laid off. Steve just explained that up here so eloquently, that you think you're a partner and you think you're safe and secure, and no jobs are secure. So this is your plan B that you can do while you're doing your job. And don't quit your job tomorrow. Some people get super excited. Oh, I want to be like Scott and Juliet. I think I'm going to quit my job and do this full time. And it's not wise. You need to stay responsible to your career or your job until you make enough here that you replace or supersede what you were making. Then you can talk to your upline and counsel and decide if it's a good thing. So just keep putting in with your spare time. We all have it. Netflix, Facebook, Fortnite, whatever it is, Pinterest, Fortnite. These guys know what it is. Stop it. So I don't know what it is. Just stop it. We have free time. That's my point. Is we take our free time and channel it into something that's going to impact you for the rest of your life, for the positive.
Okay, so obviously Brady and Bethany were grown when we were introduced to this 4.5 years ago. And so that side of your question doesn't apply, but what I would like to add is that my why was 24/7 Steve time, because he went to DIA every week. And so when he decided to retire, I had to reset my why, and we had to reset our relationship. And here's a couple of things we've learned from this transition, is that we are different. We work different. We need different types of work environments, and we need different times. I'm a night person, he's a morning person. I don't do things without coffee very well. And so I need my fuel. So it was an adjustment to doing this business together every day. And the thing that I think is most important is you're not each other's bosses. You're each other's partners. And to be able to come together and have a discussion about what's not working and what is working is really important. And so to get back to Youngevity University in step 2 and your why, I think each of you needs to have your own why and your own schedule and your own goals, as well as your couple goals and your couple schedule and all of that, and your couple why. So don't lose your individuality in it, but don't do it by yourself, because you're doing life. We're committed to each other until we go to heaven. So we want it to be the best it can be from now until then. And we want to share that and give that away to other people. So we have to also be an example of how to overcome. And I think that's the lesson we're in right now, is how to overcome transition. And, this is like you guys, we're going to take this year on. And
We should go to France with our girls.
yeah, okay, and we'll go to France. So what I would say is take to heart what you have together and what you have individually as a couple or a partner, if you're working with somebody that's not a spouse, but that you're working with.
Cool, thank you.
Yep.
Marianne?
All right. So yeah, the heart, my kids, as long as I've been in Youngevity, were a little bit older. And so and I did get to work at home part of the time while I'm on business. But I think some of the heart is not doing this 24/7, right? Because as much as we want to move this along as fast, we also, for me, my husband works, a day job. So kind of like how you were before. And so I could do this all night long. I get home, I'm up on the computer. So I realized that I need to schedule time with my husband. And sometimes that's just sitting in the living room and being alongside of him, maybe, watching hockey or what have you. But being really focused about when I am working, to be focused on work and not, because you can get distracted, Facebook, and next thing you know, you go down some little, tunnel of videos and cat videos or whatever. But anyway, so I think, the heart is the discipline side of it. And, I always tell my husband I'm working for our future. And one of my goals is to eventually have him have a choice if he wants to go to work every day or not. And I'm
Always tell your husband. Always tell your husband the reason you're doing this business is to retire him. You got that? But never let him do it.
Oh, you're funny. But the thing is that since I do make pretty decent money, we are able to travel and do some other things that we weren't able to do before. So it's one of those things we have to kind of pick and choose, right? We're saving for the future, but we also want to live like now. We don't want to put that on hold, especially at our age.
Correct.
So, all right.
And at my age, I'm so old. You know how I live my life? I get my check, I divide it by 30, and that's how much I can spend that day.
Every day.
Because I'm just saying, why save? Who knows how much time left? That's the people attempted humor.
Yeah.
So, all right. What about you, you little whippersnapper? What do you think about all this?
I would say for me, the real hard part has been coming out of my shell. I've been, more or less secluded the majority of my life, having a kid so young, and just I didn't really fit in with the other kids my age. I just had responsibilities. I wasn't out partying with everyone else, and ended up just kind of being home alone most of the time, just being a kid, hanging out. So I lost touch with a lot of people, lost a lot of the skills to build relationships and keep touch with people. And so for me, it's been just really, like I said, coming out of my shell and being able to show other people my true personality and make those connections. So yeah, but I love it. You know, the more I do it, the more I realize that I do love it, and I'm passionate about it. I love people. I love getting to know people, and just everything. Everyone has such an incredible story, and so just hearing. The more stories I hear, the more I feel like I can share mine. So thank you all for letting me.
So think about this a little bit. Think about the message. She lost her dad at age 7, fell in love at 14, had a baby almost at 17. But what's so beautiful about that is think about what she's going to be able to tell these other women about never giving up. Then she goes out and has to leave that baby 80 hours a week at that job. And you were managing what kind of store?
It was a Domino's pizza.
Domino's Pizza. And she got to the top of the ladder and realized it was leaned against the wrong wall. She was making some dough, but never seeing the baby. This is what we are about. So what I want all 5 of you to do is just say into the camera and into this crowd your best advice for women thinking about jumping into this lake called network marketing. This seems so scary because it's no set paycheck, but you're not a hostage either. What are you going to say to that?
That you are worth it. No matter where you're at in your life, you are worth it. And your decision will have a ripple effect in your family because your kids are watching, your friends are watching, your husband's watching. You're worth making this decision. You're worth it.
Wow, cool. Thank you. Okay, Juliet, one up that one.
I was gonna say,
Let's just end on that.
Throw it out there hard. I mean, you were at the top of the mountain.
So you need to believe in yourself, and if you aren't ready to believe in yourself, then you need to find your personal growth path so that you can, because you all have what it takes, women and men, to do this. And don't feel like you don't have self-confidence, because it can be learned through like the courses that you've taken, that we've taken, and it's worth developing self-confidence. That's sometimes what I see the missing link. So it's worth it to do it.
You never have to give away your power again. Is that cool? Thank you. All right, Dean. Round of applause.
My advice would be to don't look for reasons why you aren't able to do this, but look for ways for you to be able to do this. Even if it's 15 minutes a day to invest in yourself and your future and your family, is to not use your excuses, particularly to your children, as your reason not to, but use them to drive you to create this.
Beautiful. Thank you.
I think if you're looking for something, because a lot of us are looking for something and we don't really realize it until it shows up. But the powerfulness of network marketing is the community and building, like you talked about, self-esteem and becoming a true leader. And I think in women, we, tend to lead the family, right? A lot of times we're already in that leadership role, and now we're just taking it up another level. So, really embrace your leadership skills that you've already developed with your family and take it to the next level.
Beautiful, Miriam. Thank you. Let's have a little advice from you.
All right, so my advice is to just stay true to yourself. Everyone has what works for them. You don't have to live up to the image that you see the other successful people. You don't have to try to be them. Just be yourself and do what you know and you feel is right. And success will just come to you because you're staying true to you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, ladies. All right. Yes. Rock star.
Yeah.
There's big stuff going on. I had lunch with her yesterday. I went, holy mackerel, who's this kid? All right, who's next, Scott? Who? Who? Juliet Pardulas. What's so funny is that I already knew that. And it's gonna be a test. So here's the deal about Juliet. And I got to have something to do with the docket today, with the agenda. And I didn't even look at it. I said, Scott, you've got to have Juliet talk of recognition. Because in Youngevity, I hope corporate is watching this. There's a lesson to be learned